Hello, hello. Now I see it looks like Natalie's here. Hi. So we'll wait here for some more people to join us. I'm recording this meeting. Yep. Anybody can watch it afterwards and we can share. But I'm going to go ahead and talk about me just a little bit, just to introduce myself and say hi. So my name is Macy Fox, and hopefully some people will join us here. And we live down in Florida in Cape Coral, and I'm a piano teacher and I'm a mom. And so music is just a big part of what our family does. And my daughter, Catherine, is 3. She just turned 3. She's very, very musical because that's what we do. And I've had all of this stuff in my heart that I've been wanting to share with other moms. And I said, how can I get this out there? It seems weird to like host a class for, babies and toddlers. I don't know. So, oh, hi, Natalie, Northern Michigan.
Hi.
Hi, I can
Hi.
hear you.
How are you?
I feel
Here,
silly
let me
only talking
unmute.
to you right now, but it's recording too. So, but yes, thank you for joining us. Is it cold up there in Michigan?
Yes,
Yeah, I
it
bet. I
is,
have a
and it's
piano
raining a lot.
student in Michigan. Oh, it's raining a lot here too because of the hurricane, but different reasons.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. So tell me about your 3 and 1-year-old.
Well, here. Oh, Landon, come here. Might as well just say hi.
Hi. Oh, hi.
Hi there,
Nice to see
buddy.
you.
Oh, well, I've got this little 3-year-old guy here, and we've been listening to Mozart a lot. And
Hi.
uh, I stay home with this guy, and I have a little 1-year-old sleeping upstairs.
Super cool.
And I do VIP kids, of course.
That's right. Okay, so you're one of the
Yeah.
VIP kid moms.
Yeah.
Originally, this workshop, I was going to just make it for the moms in my city, but then I thought, wait a minute, there are other people who would probably enjoy hearing all of this stuff, so I thought I'd spread it out there.
Anyways, I can unmute if you want to keep this a recording.
Yeah, that'll be good. I'll
Okay.
probably have most people mute and all of that, and then I'll go ahead and just get into it and talk about some of the resources and things, and hopefully some other people will join us. This is the first time I've ever done this kind of workshop. I've done big group things with students, and I've done some in-person things with parents, but anyways, yeah, so I'll go ahead and jump in here. So I have a Google Doc here with lots of resources and just tips and ideas, and anybody who wants to send me their email address, I can send this to you afterwards. So for example, up at the top, I've got a link to our Facebook page. That's just our music studio. So if you want to keep tabs on what we're doing, you can click on that, click like, and then you'll get updates about what we do. I post some stuff, that's for the younger ages, but most of it's for my older students. But, if anybody ever has an interest in music lessons, online piano lessons with older students, then that's a great way to kind of stay in touch. We also have a curated YouTube, actually not one playlist, but many playlists that my husband and I, mostly him, curate, and we choose classical music that we think that families and kids would be interested in. We put them into playlists based on composer or sometimes a theme, like we have a Halloween playlist and some different things like that. We've got Bach and Mozart and Beethoven, but we also have some that are not quite as well known, like Boccherini and Saint-Saëns and different composers like that. Now, in terms of books, books was the first category I wanted to talk about. Books have been really instrumental, no pun intended, in our musical journey with Catherine. And so I wanted to show some of these books. Oh, these are heavy. Right here, move some. I've got a lot. The first category of these are the story orchestra books, and I put the links to the YouTube, not YouTube, Amazon up there. And so story orchestra, they're gorgeous, they're big, they're beautiful, and the illustrations are incredible. But not only is it a great story, but you can press the buttons and listen to the music. So for example, let's hear It has actual orchestral recordings. So this is from Sanson's Carnival of the Animals. And so this is a story about two boys who go on an adventure and they discover lots of different animals. And the music is from Sanson's Carnival of the Animals, which depicts lions and elephants and tortoises. And this is a really great introduction to classical music for little ones, small ones. They also have Vivaldi's Four Seasons. This is actually the first one we got. And Catherine, she would ask to read it like 3 times a day. And it's a pretty long book. And my husband, bless his heart, he has read these books many, many times. And I have too. But anyways, this one's fabulous. Then we've also got Swan Lake, which Catherine, she tells me every day that she's playing Swan Lake on her toy piano, which she hasn't quite picked that one out yet, but she's getting close. And so that one's beautiful. Oh, one thing I love about these is the fact that they have a lot of beautiful diversity. I think that that's really a lovely thing to see in books about princesses and things. We've got Sleeping Beauty, and then also, last but not least, we have the Nutcracker, which is just a staple. We told Catherine she's only allowed to see that one, and we're only allowed to read it in December, though, so she's been waiting and waiting for that. The next series that I love is Poppy and the Orchestra, or actually these Poppy books. We've got Poppy and Mozart, Poppy and Vivaldi. And these are super cute. These are, the story orchestra might be better for a little bit older ages. With Catherine, we started around the age of 2, but the story orchestra, the Poppy ones, these would probably even be better with smaller ones. There's less text on the page and more pictures, but the same thing. You can hear real, in this case, piano music, but sometimes orchestral music. And that's one of the things I love about these books is that it's real music. It's not MIDI or something that is low quality like that. You can't inspire children to love the language of music with stuff that's not real music. So those are all really lovely in terms of just building general musicality. Note reading, we have this book called Here Come the High Notes. This is one of the most impactful tools I have ever found for teaching young kids to read music. It's not necessary for 2, 3, 4-year-olds to be reading music. They're not even reading words yet at that point. A lot of piano teachers that teach preschool music lessons really kind of like, this is what we're going to focus on. I think that language acquisition comes before reading, and so with music acquisition and just playing, even if it's just by rote or by memory, probably should come before reading, but it doesn't hurt to start working on reading on the side. I don't have Catherine try to read a piece of music off of the staff on paper and play it at the same time, but she actually is starting to read music very well, and she just turned 3. But an example of this, it says, Snooty C made a great big scene. He huffed, I want a throne. Those lines weren't enough for C, and so he drew his own. And there he is sitting on his own special line. So when I explain to students, this is middle C because it lives on its own special line, I can remind them, yeah, remember? It's Snooty C. So that's great. We have Zen Zen Zen, a violin. This introduces students to orchestral instruments. It's really cute. This one, I didn't like the illustrations at first. They're kind of funky looking, but the rhymes in it are just so fun to read. It's a little bit of a tongue twister, but it's really fun, and she loves it. And also introducing students to composers. I think that when students, or I say students, children, babies, little ones, when they start, interacting with these composers on a maybe not first name, last name basis, talking about Mr. Bach or Mr. Beethoven, Mr. Mozart, it makes them feel more personable and real. It's kind of hard for little ones to connect with people in history. And then we also have one about Vivaldi, although this one's a little bit more text heavy and is better for older students, but beautiful illustrations. So those are all great. Now, those are just the books, and books, like I said, have been very instrumental in Catherine's music education. But, and I have another one called Welcome to the Symphony. That's really great. In terms of programs and curriculum, we use the Prodigy's music curriculum, which this is something you can purchase as like a lifetime subscription. It's like $700. You can do a monthly thing. You can do yearly subscriptions. I think monthly is like $13 a month. This is fabulous. I don't think that this replaces music instruction in the future when they're older, like 6, 7, 8 years old, because without a teacher, you can't make sure that good technique is developing, which is, of course, really important. But with this, it's got lots of great stuff. This actually uses bells, and these are pitch desk bells. I have this on the Google Doc as well. And so you can see these are really lovely. They're very high quality. I think this set is like $60. It's a great thing to put on a Christmas list. But my daughter Catherine loves to play the bells, and she can sing the solfege. We've been working on do, re, mi, fa, sol, do. Uh-oh, these are out of order. It's because she put them in the box. But anyways, and so this is really great. The reason why an instrument like this, I say an instrument, bells like these are so great is because they're pitched, but they don't require any technique. Even the piano, as simple as it is, you just press a note with your finger. Technically, there is technique involved in piano, especially when students are older. And so it is true when little ones spend a lot of time on the piano, theoretically, they could start developing some bad techniques. I'm not too worried about that. I'm really not worried with Catherine. Of course, then again, she lives with a piano teacher mom, so I can kind of watch for that. But the pitched desk bells are great because there's no wrong way to hit a desk bell. You just press it. And it exposes them to pitch going higher and lower. You can use the solfege. They also have solfege hand signs that you can work with. This is something that any parent can do. You can learn the solfege words, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and practice going up and going down. Something like this, it's got the hand signs. You can do do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And one thing that we've done with Catherine is when she was little bitty, like a baby, we would, I had this habit of anytime I picked her up to put her up somewhere, even just to change her diaper, I would pick her up and put her on the changing mat. And when we would pick her up, I would sing an ascending scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And when I would put her back down, I would do the opposite. Do, ti, la, sol, fa, mi, re, do. Kind of going up, going down. And even, when she got older, we'd put her in her little booster seat, same thing. Sometimes I shorten it to the 1, 3, 5, 1, do, mi, sol, do, sol, mi, do. Something like that to make it shorter. But anyway, so that's great. Obviously, things and concepts, well, I'm going to get to the concepts in just a minute, but yeah, I don't want to get ahead of myself. But yeah, so that's the programs. Oh, no, there's one more. We got the Wonderkeys books. Now, the Wonderkeys books, this is a piano-centered curriculum, and these are actually books for a piano teacher to use with their students. So this is not quite as much something that parents could do with their students, but sometimes you can look around in your city and see if there is a teacher who offers preschool like Wonderkeys lessons. There aren't a lot of teachers that do preschool lessons. A lot of teachers will tell you, oh, just wait, it's fine. You can wait until they're 5 or 6. It's mostly because I think most piano teachers don't like teaching the younger ones because they take a lot more energy, which is true. I do teach preschool lessons, and I offer even doing online lessons. The way that looks is I'm more teaching the parent who's teaching the student. But anyways, and so I don't currently have any online preschool ones, but I have done lots of in-person preschool lessons in the past, but these books are precious. They're very engaging. They cover really fundamental music concepts like, going higher, lower, music that goes fast and slow and loud and quiet and things like that. But it's really engaging. They're kind of set up like a storybook or a comic book. So those are great. So that's Wonderkeys and Prodigies. Those are wonderful. Prodigies also has videos that you can watch. In fact, that's a large part of what they do. You can watch the videos and kind of track along with songs. They'll put notes up on the screen and you can press the bells. It's a really great alternative to plopping the kids down in front of TV. It's really fun and engaging. Of course, at first they need a little bit of help to kind of settle into it, but really great. So we do that with Catherine. In terms of instruments to have in the home, ideally, my heart would say I would love for every family to have an acoustic piano in their home. We have both a digital piano in here that I teach on, as well as an acoustic Yamaha in the living room. I know that acoustic pianos are expensive and they're big and they're heavy and all of that, but the one that we have, we purchased it actually last year, and we decided to just do a payment plan on it. It's like $50 a month, or no, 70, I think 70. It's very reasonable. You know, if you have good credit, a lot of music stores will work with you on that, deliver it to your house, and it's something that is just, again, I keep coming back to this word, instrumental. It's really impactful for musical development in a child. Now, digital instruments are good too, but they don't have the same soul that an acoustic piano has. People say that the strings are the soul of an instrument, and a digital piano is programmed. It's like a computer that makes noise, and they can be very expressive. The technology has come a long way, but nothing beats an acoustic. So if it's at all possible, a lot of times people give away pianos for free. And as long as you have a technician or a piano tuner come with you to check them out and make sure that, you know, it's not a lemon, sometimes you can get a free piano that's really great. So there's that. Also, this little toy piano over here, I think Amazon has this for, it's kind of expensive for a tiny little toy piano, but it's $50. A great Christmas present from the grandparents. This is something that Catherine will sit in her room and pick things out. I'm not even kidding. It was 2 days ago. I posted on my Facebook page. I heard her playing something when I was in here. I heard a little. She was playing Happy Birthday. I have not taught her Happy Birthday. And she's picking it out by ear, and she's barely 3. She turned 3 last month, and I'm saying, like, how is this possible? She picked out the first 2 phrases of Happy Birthday all by herself just because she's been so exposed to music, and it's kind of freaking me out a little bit. I don't know what I was expecting when we've kind of dunked her into music so much since she was born, but anyways, so the pitch decibels, I also put that on here. Rhythm instruments are great. Rhythm instruments are usually very affordable. It's things like, you know, the maracas and rhythm sticks and things. Those are wonderful. I also have a section on here for inspiration. Alma Deutzer. Actually, all 3 of these links are about a young lady named Alma Deutzer. And in fact, I'm going to play just a little bit. Let's see, right here, this one right here. Hopefully it's not too loud. There we go, that's probably good. In this video, I don't know her exact age, but as you can see, she's tiny. She's, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old. And she's obviously a prodigy, right? This is not normal expectations of a child at the age of 6 or 7. But her family, they live in, or she grew up in Britain. I think they live in Austria now. But they immersed her in music from her youngest ages, and her parents are both musicians, and she just grew up around this. And so the idea that children can come up learning and basically speaking the language of music from a young age is really not crazy when you consider the fact that a child that grows up in a house that speaks French and English will grow up bilingual. So a student or a child that grows up in a home that speaks music and exposes them to rich classical music, they'll learn how to speak music. It's really not a crazy philosophy, but at the same time, like I said, you know, it is kind of freaking me out that Catherine is latching onto that so well. So I have a couple of videos of her. She's now about 14 years old, and this next link is a composition that she wrote. She's a composer. She writes her own music. I think that piece that she played was Mozart, but when she got a little bit older, she plays violin, she sings, and she writes music, and she has actual adult orchestras that learn her music and perform them for audiences in like Vienna and different places around the world, and it's incredible. But her heart for music just brings tears to my eyes every time I hear her talk about her philosophy of music. And she has a video called Why Music Should Be Beautiful. And it's just in defense of the fact that in this modern age, especially in, oh gosh, in this year, people need a lot of hope, and people need a lot of beauty. surrounding us, something that helps to pull us up out of a lot of dark circumstances. And we all experience dark things, and we all want our children to have tools that help them to cope with negative emotions. And actually, today is a great example of that. I was so excited about this workshop. I was so excited because I've been dying to just put this out here and share some of these resources with people. And then this morning, my cat was very ill, and it looks like we need to take him to the vet, and he has some sort of weird neurological thing going on. We have a hurricane blowing through, and I think part of our roof needs fixing now. The internet went out right before this workshop started, and there's just been so many things, one thing after another. I have a close family member stirring up political drama on Facebook, and so I sat right before the workshop and I turned on Dvorak's Ninth Symphony. In fact, let's hear a little bit of Dvorak's Ninth Symphony. And this is one of my go-to pieces of music when I just need to clear my head and think. And so this is a beautiful piece. The beginning of this is kind of a little bit gritty, powerful. And this is his most famous symphony. It's called the New World Symphony. Many people recognize it. And I find for me that when I'm having a bad day, when I'm struggling with a lot of thoughts and emotions, classical music is just one of my first go-to things. And I feel like a lot of people don't know about this tool. They don't know how to use this tool. A lot of people have these misconceptions about classical music, like, oh, it's nice because it's peaceful. It's, spa music. And I say, spa music? Like that, what we just listened to, that's not spa music. That's a little bit more kind of, it's got some war, some tension in it. And there is beautiful and peaceful classical music. And yeah, when we're playing, classical music for babies and toddlers, a lot of times you're going to want to err towards the side of happy, and stuff that's very peaceful and beautiful, Swan Lake and things like that. But at the same time, kind of talking through the emotions in music is a wonderful tool for toddlers and babies. It's wonderful because human beings are complex. And I've seen with Catherine, sometimes she doesn't know how to describe her emotions, and she gets upset and she doesn't understand how to say, I'm angry right now, or I'm sad right now, I'm disappointed. And so as we listen to the music, this is a great opportunity to talk about emotion words. So that's really great. And so there's that now. So that's all of the stuff up there. Now, in terms of concepts that parents can instill in children, is things like we've talked about with pitch, like these pitch desk bells, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. Rhythm, the elementary aspect of rhythm is short sounds and long sounds. So teaching children that is a short sound and that is a long sound. Any parent can do that. You can quiz them on this. If you have toddlers that are a little bit older, you can, play some sounds and say, hey, what was that? Short or long? Short or long? You can turn them into games. In fact, that's kind of what the Wonderkeys books are all about, is they have games like that. Oh, in fact, yeah, I forgot to mention this. This is one that I printed and laminated from the Wonderkeys book. And this is a game that utilizes finger independence. And what you do is you put a penny on each of the little animal parents. And the students have to use a different finger in order to slide the penny to the right student on the bus. So for example, this is Thumbelina. All of the fingers have names in the Wonderkeys curriculum. So you use Thumbelina to drag the penny from Thumbelina's mommy over to Thumbelina. And then for Pinky Pig, you should use Pinky, your pinky, right, obviously, and move that one over to Pinky Pig. And so there's a lot of brain engagement, but there's also, learning how to separate the fingers, which is important for every instrument, especially piano. Speaking of which, with piano, one other thing, here's my other camera. I already erased some of this a little bit, but learning, alphabet letters, obviously, every parent is going to go ahead and start working with their kids on the alphabet. But, at least the letters A through G as soon as possible. With Catherine, we started introducing her to the musical alphabet very early and just really, really talking about those letters. My parents used to joke that she was never going to learn the other letters in the alphabet. And I said, well, that's okay. She doesn't need them. She's going to be a musician. She only needs A through G. No. But anyways, having those and using something like flashcards, you can lay them out on the floor and have them go in a circle. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. That's a great game. You can start on a different note like E and have them go from there and put them in order. That's a really good game for the musical alphabet. Yes, steady beat. Oh, the best thing for steady beat is just, gross body movements. So things like marching, clapping, dancing, stomping. For really energetic little ones, I think marching or stomping is great. Even jumping, if you have the right piece of music, you can have them jump to the beat. With Catherine, what we realized is that, obviously when she was like 1.5, even up to 2, obviously she didn't have a sense of steady beat. That's normal. Children don't just come into the world with that. And so what we would do is, we'd rock her to the beat. And then when she got a little bit older, we would dance with her. And even now she'll say, dance with me, dance with me. And I'll grab her hands and we'll kind of dance back and forth where I almost kind of pick her up off the floor to the beat of the music. And she's internalizing it with her whole body and kind of bouncing up and down to the beat of the music. And it's a really strong reinforcement for this sense of steady beat. And then as they get a little bit older and start to internalize that, they can try clapping, tapping rhythm sticks and things. But I always recommend starting with full body movements before you try to do small motions with steady beats. Asking a student to tap a steady beat with a finger when they don't have that sense of steady beat and pulse in their body is very challenging. They're not going to be able to do that. Singing, using the voice at a young age is really important because we need to overcome that stigma in our culture. So many people say, oh, I can't sing. Oh, I can't sing. And if you're a mom that feels that way, I'm just going to have to say, your kids, they don't care what your voice sounds like. Your voice is beautiful to them because it's yours. And so I'm not saying you should sing in the airport or at Subway or something like that, unless you want to. But singing in the home, if you have the ability to match pitch, which some people don't automatically, and if you don't, you can call me up and we can do some music lessons. I do teach adults too. But anyways, if you have the ability to match pitch, then singing songs, Twinkle, Twinkle, London Bridge, things like that, looking in your child's eyes and singing with them, smiling, and just making music time fun is really important. I kind of lost my train of thought there. What was I talking about? Oh, yes. So for any parents who don't already know solfege, do, re, mi, fa, sol, I highly encourage looking into the prodigies. I've got the link up higher, no, down below. It's the solfege hand sign poster. You can print it out and sing it together with your student. That's a great thing to do. Learning left and right hand, that's something that can really help them out in the future with music lessons. If you send them into music lessons, piano lessons when they're 5 or 6, if you've already worked on that a whole lot, that really helps to make lessons more effective. I never realized how many students I would be teaching their left and right hand until I became a piano teacher. Counting. One-to-one correspondence is super important. And of course, this is something we want for our kids in general. But one-to-one correspondence on the page is different from one-to-one correspondence in the ear. So oral skills, and this is another one of these games where you play one sound on the piano, or you can clap it, or make a syllable with your mouth or something. But if I play one sound, then Catherine needs to slide a coin over to the pot of 1. And if I play 2 sounds, then she slides it over to the 2. So little games like this, just to increase that counting awareness of not just visual counting, but also oral counting, is very useful. Let's see, dynamics, talking about soft sounds and loud sounds. You can talk about what animals make what kind of sounds. Lions are loud. A mouse is very quiet. Emotions in music, I talked about that earlier a little bit. But when you listen to the music, don't just turn it on and do stuff. Turn it on and engage with the music. So talk to your students about, hey, what does this music sound like to you? Does it sound happy or sad? Or maybe it's somewhere in the middle, and that gives you the opportunity to talk about emotion words. You can ask, what does it make you think of? Can you draw a picture of that? Does it make you think of a rainbow, or does it make you think of a dog that is happy and playing? Students, it's a great inlet for creativity and expression. Pattern recognition is another thing to start working with at an early age. You can do color patterns, number patterns. We use patterns a lot in music, and so So recognizing sets of 2 and 3 black keys and just being able to find those on the piano is a great skill. Finger independence is huge. As children build motor control, just going about life, one thing that they don't tend to pick up on a lot is the ability to use the fingers independently. We just don't need to do that very often in life, especially when you're 3 years old. So doing finger plays like the Where is Thumbkin and stuff like that. I've got a list of these right here that you can click on. And most importantly, lastly, I'm going to try to wrap this up, is just immersion. Like I was saying, children, if they're immersed in a language, if it's Spanish, German, French, Italian, Chinese, they will learn the language. So the best way for a child to grasp the language of music is just to be immersed in it. Parents, talk about it. Turn the music on. I know this sounds a little bit crazy and a little bit unrelated, and I'm not like paid to say this, but my husband pointed out the fact that something that we've done in our family is that we have an ad blocker for YouTube, and we have these great classical music playlists. I think it's like $35 a year for an ad blocker, which is great, and you'll thank yourself a million times because you don't have ads on websites. But then you're able to just turn on the classical music on the YouTube playlist and just stream it all day, and you can interact with it as much as you want, and you don't have ads that are driving you crazy. So that, I think, has been really helpful for our family. Interact with music, talk about what you're listening to. You can say, this is Mr. Bach's music. Do you hear the cello? The cello makes a low sound. This piece is really happy and inspiring. I love listening to Mr. Bach's music. And one game that we play in our family is all the time we ask, who is this? Who is this? And try to guess what composer is playing. Catherine is 3. She has actually accurately guessed, this is Mr. Bach, just by listening to his music. Beethoven also, Tchaikovsky was one, Vivaldi. She can guess composers just by hearing the music because she's been so exposed to it. So my last little point is just the idea that kids value what we value. And if parents say, hey, this is something that's really important to us, then it will be important to them. If you think it's beautiful, if you think it's exciting, they will too. And if a child doesn't have access to more instant gratification, like, access to screens and technology, and I know it's hard, it's a hard battle to fight, and it's a hard line for parents to decide how much technology are we going to allow and screen time and all of that. For our family, we were not able to find a good balance, and so we just cut it out altogether. We don't have a TV. We watch TV on our laptops on Saturday nights, but Catherine doesn't have a tablet or a phone or anything that she plays on. She doesn't know that YouTube exists, and so she doesn't ask for those things. And because she doesn't ask for them, when we say, hey, let's do music time, it's like, yeah, that's great. I'm excited about that, because she doesn't have, Peppa Pig to watch or something like that. Children will always latch on to things that are more instant gratification, instant reward. And so we've just found that was a very helpful thing for our family. Last but not least, I forgot to talk about the Prodigy's books. The books that come along with the bells. I just realized I have a whole stack of these over there. You can buy these books as well and start working. 2 or 3 years old is a great time to buy some of these books and start with me. Is this no, over here? Mi, re, do, mi, re, do. And this is great one-to-one correspondence because you can touch and count 1, 2, 3, 4, and have them count out loud. So they're really developing a lot of great preschool skills in doing music. That's kind of why we chose not to do any preschool with Catherine last year or this year. And we probably won't even do anything like that next year, because she's already learning a lot about language and music and counting and emotions and all sorts of stuff just because of music. So that is my whole spiel about that. I think I've talked about all the stuff I could possibly talk about. And Natalie, if you're still there, I'll go ahead and wrap this up. And if you want to pop back on, if you have any questions, I don't know if you had any points or comments, any thoughts.
Oh,
hello, buddy.
Hello. No, this was wonderful. Thank you so much.